Here now is Fleur Hassan-Nahoum. She is the Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem. Thank you, Mayor, for being with us at this important time. There are some organizations, I-24 among them, reporting the Red Cross is expecting to receive up to 50 additional hostages. Is there any truth to that reporting? Are you hearing that?
Well, for 24 hours, we've been hearing that perhaps the hostages with dual citizenship, Israeli and some other citizenship, amongst them 7, 8 Americans, British, French. So we have been hearing for 24 hours that that might actually happen. But, you know, until it actually happens, we don't want to get our hopes up. It's really a nightmare that we're going through. Israel is a small country. We all know somebody affected, killed, kidnapped. And we're going through very, very difficult moments. And we pray for the safe return of all of the hostages.
I share in that prayer. We're looking, at the release of the 2 elderly women last night. You have called for proof of life in the past from Hamas in regards to the hostages. Why do you think they're releasing them now in this drip fashion?
Well, I think there's probably a number of reasons. First of all, they probably want to put off the Israeli ground invasion, and they know that they're holding the best cards possible. And that is that Israel actually values life and values the life of our hostages. As they use human shields in order to, you know, keep themselves alive, we really want our hostages home, and we will do anything to get them back. So I think that's part of it. Secondly, I think from what I've read and a big analyst that I know, they want to keep the hostages alive because they're more valuable alive than dead. And so these 2 ladies who are 80s and 70s, possibly health-wise, was wise for them to let them go before they died in captivity. So I think that's also a factor involved here. And I think they're playing mind games. This is psychological warfare. They've allowed these 2 ladies to leave, but their husbands are still in there. So these ladies, whatever they're saying now, everything has to be seen in the prism of the fact that their husbands are still in captivity. And so anything they say is something that we have to analyze very carefully and also understand that there's a certain amount of Stockholm syndrome going on.
Right. Important that you point that out. What they were told before their release as to what they would do with their loved ones once out and could speak freely about it are 2 different things. People of Israel have gone through so much tragedy. We've seen it. We've heard the stories. I've interviewed people who were directly involved, saw the atrocities. What is the sentiment now that the ground invasion still has not started among Israelis, those that you talk to in Jerusalem, about invading on the ground and the bloody battle that might ensue?
Well, I think that we've proven to everyone that this is not an impulsive response to a horrible, cruel, brutal massacre. What we're doing is, I think we're being very measured. We're trying to figure out what the least casualties can be and what the plan for the least casualties. Also on the Gaza side, because we really care more about their civilians than they do. They use them as human shields, as I mentioned, and also for our soldiers. So we're trying to see how much of the terrorist infrastructure we can dismantle before putting our boys in harm's way. And I think that's part of what is being thought about. But I think this has proven that, you know, Israel has the power, the strength to flatten the whole place. But we don't, because we're moral and we play by the rules. And so we're really, I believe, figuring out the best way to do it with the least amount of casualties and, of course, to get our hostages back.
And how do you feel about the humanitarian aid? There has been some that's been allowed in.
Well, look, we're doing everything we can in order to comply with the Hague and Geneva Conventions, which is to allow the passage of humanitarian aid. But a lot of the hostage families are actually quite angry about it because they're saying, well, we're giving the civilians humanitarian aid. Who's giving us any humanitarian aid? Who's giving us proof of life, as I mentioned? Who's giving us any type of assurance that our loved ones are being taken care of? We have zero assurance, and yet we're still outstretching our hand to help the civilian population there.
And real quickly, I'm almost out of time, just 30 seconds or so left. We heard from the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, moments ago. He's warning to Iran to not further widen this conflict. How did that message, how was that message received in Israel?
Well, I think the American government has been really incredible in their support and their understanding of what's going on here. And they understand what we know. And that is that this is a much bigger story. And it's a story of Iran against not just Israel, but the free world.
Thank you for your time and your perspective, Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem, Fleur Hassan-Nahoum. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.